Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Book Time with Elvis. Sorry. I feel I'm going to cough, as I often do when I start speaking, I could cut it, but hey, I'm not going to bother. So, welcome to the latest episode of Book Time with Elvis with me, Mark, and Elvis, who's around here somewhere, sleeping. Yeah, I haven't made a video for a while. I thought I would just hop on today and make a quick tag video. I've been tagged in so many wonderful tags, but they do take a bit of thought and preparation. Whereas I saw this one on Steve Donoghue's, and it's more like a kind of chit chat kind of tag, I suppose, which is the My Favorite Things tag, originally created by author Lauren Adele. And I've seen it on Steve Wiley, Steve. Oh gosh, I should just stop, shouldn't I? Steve Donoghue's, David Wiley's, and a few other people's. So I thought I'd do it, although I wasn't technically tagged in this one. And to people who've tagged me already, I apologize. I have seen them. I've written them all down in my atrocious handwriting, and I will get to them for sure. And there's some great ones, and I really look forward to doing them. But as I say, this is the My Favorite Things tag. So as they say, let's dive right in. So, questions. There are 16 questions. So, number one, who's your favorite musician or band? Oh, these are always tough ones, really. I suppose my favorite band is a 90s Britpop band called Suede. I really enjoy their music. And yeah, I would say they have to be one of my favorite bands for sure. I also liked other bands like Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, Bon Jovi, to name a few. Meatloaf, even. I'm not really so hip, but I like what I like, and that's that really. So there are a few, but I'll choose Suede. Number two, what are your top three favorite films? Okay, let's start with number three. I would go with the 1950s Disney version of Treasure Island, which I think is a fantastic film. It holds many great memories for me, so that's there. Number two, I will go with another fantastic film, quite an old one. I think it's from 1949, 47, 49, I don't remember exactly. Kind Hearts and Coronets. It's an Ealing comedy starring Alec Guinness and Dennis Price. Alec Guinness plays a plethora of different characters, and it's a great film. It's kind of a black comedy, dark comedy, and it's well worth your time if you haven't watched it to check it out. Kind Hearts and Coronets. And then number one would have to be the 1963. Like, I should have checked the dates, but I think it's about right. Film Zulu, starring Stanley Baker and Michael Caine. Michael Caine actually in his first film role, and it tells the story of a small band of British soldiers at a mission station called Rorke's Drift in South Africa during the Zulu War of 1879. The film picks up the story of the day after a catastrophe when an army of British soldiers were pretty much wiped out by a host of Zulu warriors, and it follows the story of what happened the following day when 4,000 or so Zulus took on 100 or so British soldiers. And it's a great film, and it's an interesting film. That the fact it was made 50 something years ago, and it could have been a racist film, or seen to be a racist film, but I think it really isn't, and it was definitely ahead of its time. But it's a great film, and again, well worth checking out if you haven't seen it. Number three, what's your favorite scent? I think for me, anything that has to do with cinnamon, oranges, cloves, that kind of thing, especially all mixed together, would be a favourite scent of mine for sure. Number 4, what's your favourite Disney film? Well, I've put Treasure Island in my top 3 favourite films of all time, but for Disney film, I will choose 2, one animated and one live action. The animated one will be The Little Mermaid, which came out when I was around 10 years old. Steve mentions it as a kind of, what's the word? Border film between kind of 2 different eras. You know, there's Disney before The Little Mermaid, Disney after, but The Little Mermaid is definitely a favorite of mine. It just holds again good memories of my childhood. And live action, I have to go with Mary Poppins. Actually, I'm not sure if I should state this, but actually it is a favorite film of mine, and I will even now watch it from time to time. I think it's a wonderful film. I love the music in it, the story in it. I find it very moving. The relationship between the Banks children and their father, and I just think it's a really wonderful film. I haven't seen the newer version. I don't want to. The original 60s version of Mary Poppins is enough for me, and I don't think it could ever be improved on. I believe the newer one is a sequel, but still, I'm not particularly interested in watching that. What's your favourite season? Number 5. I would have to go with spring. I spend a large part of my recent life living in places that have quite long winters. And autumn, although beautiful, tends to be quite dreary, whereas spring is just an explosion of so many shades of green. I couldn't even count it, as well as wonderful scents, aromas, flowers, all that kind of stuff. So I really do enjoy spring, and there is a very much, for example, here in the Czech Republic, of that feeling of renewal, and I like that. It makes me feel positive. It's definitely my favorite season here. Number 6, what's your favorite seasonal drink? Well, Christmas time, I do like any kind of drink that mentions the scents that I had for question 3. So anything that's kind of hot, containing like orange, cloves and cinnamon, definitely. So I guess something like a mulled wine, although these days I would prefer it without alcohol. And if I was to go for summer, I suppose a nice gin and tonic, or even a Pimm's. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Number 7, do you have a favorite shirt or article of clothing? Yes, I do. So at the moment, these are my favorite articles of clothing because my mum made them for me, and still at 41, I'm very happy to receive homemade things from my mum, and yeah, they're very comfortable. Now I put it up like this because they joke at me at work when I come in, I don't pull it off all the way, put it up like that, and they think I look like a little gnome or elf. But of course, if I'm out and about, I kind of pull it down a bit, and I'm not really somebody who's good with this type of hat generally, because I have such a round face and round head, but it keeps the ears warm and it's very soft and really nice. So at the moment, these are my definite favorite articles of clothing. Number 8, who's your favorite author? Again, very tricky one, difficult one. People who watch this channel know that Treasure Island and Three Men in the Boat are among my absolute favorite books. Are the authors my favorite authors? Well, to a point, I suppose. I do like both of them. I'm not somebody who reads a huge amount from different authors, but if I mention a couple, read huge amounts from one particular author, but if I mention a couple, I suppose I would go with the likes of James Clavell, who wrote Shogun and his whole Asian series, which I was just talking about with someone today. Really fantastic. And again, someone I mentioned a few times, before Giles Milton, who's a historian who kind of writes historical narrative books about usually about kind of quirky or little known subjects, and he's really great, and I would recommend you check him out. Number 9, do you have a favorite spot for reading or writing? Yeah, I suppose I have two. I do enjoy reading when I'm in a nice cozy cafe and I can just order drinks or cake or whatever. That's nice. But when I'm at home, I enjoy just kind of lying on the bed, reading, Elvis curled up at my feet. Nothing better. Number 10, what's your favorite food or dessert? I do like my traditional English desserts. I like sticky toffee puddings, jam roly-poly puddings, that kind of stuff, trifle. I do very much enjoy. Favorite food, I'd have to go something full of flavor and spice, so kind of Indian food, Chinese food I enjoy very much, and also Japanese food as well. I do like a good bit of sushi, though I don't really eat it that much because I spent a few years living in Japan, in Hokkaido, and I think they probably have the best sushi, and it's very hard to get that quality anywhere else. So I've become a bit of a sushi snob. That's not easy to say, is it? 11. What's your favorite time of day? Basically, my favorite time of day is any time of day that I get to hang out with Elvis, really. Especially when I'm working. We have several hours apart, and that's always difficult. It's one reason I'm really looking forward to moving house, hopefully not in the not too distant future, because the house will be like less than a minute away from school, and I'll be able to pop back and see him as often as I like when I'm not teaching, which will be great. If we're speaking generally, I suppose I'm a morning person. I mean, I do wake up every day around 5 a.m. and go out with Elvis. It's much harder to do this time of the year, of course, than it is in the spring and summer, but certainly in the spring and summer, I do very much enjoy getting up very early. Number 12, what's your favorite color? I like pastel colors. I used to wear a lot of shirts that were like a pastel pink or pastel yellow, that kind of thing, pastel green, pastel blue as well. I like, if I'm being very basic about it, then I suppose a nice kind of light blue and a nice pink would be my two favorite colors. My top 3 favorite YouTube channels. That's number 13. I'm not going to choose any booktube channels because I don't want to leave anybody out. So I will choose channels I watch on that aren't to do with books, mostly to do with history. So they would be channels like The History Chap, Weird History, for example, and one I really love is the Classic Time Team channel, which kind of shows all the old episodes of Time Team, which, if you haven't seen it, it's an archaeological program that used to be on Channel 4 in England, and now they've moved most of the episodes onto YouTube, and it's good fun, a lot of good characters there, and it's very interesting and well worth your time. Number 14, what's your favorite musical or play? It's a good one. My favorite musical, apart from Mary Poppins, if it's something I've seen, it would be not really a musical. I would have to go with opera, so I'm going to change it slightly, the question there, because I don't watch a lot of musicals. I don't really watch a lot of plays these days, but I do love opera, so I would have to go with The Marriage of Figaro by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. which I have seen numerous recordings of, and also seen at the Estates Theatre in Prague, which was absolutely fantastic experience. Going to a building, a concert hall that actually Mozart himself actually performed in. Although it was the hall he premiered Don Giovanni, but still it was a really wonderful experience that I'll never forget. And number 15, what's your favorite place that you visited? Well, I've been very lucky. I've traveled a lot. I've been to many places. One that kind of sticks out in my mind as somewhere kind of unique, and a place that actually gave me, I don't want to say like a spiritual awakening, but made me feel a little bit spiritual, I felt a kind of harmony with the place. It sounds weird maybe, but I'm sure many of you know what I mean. Was when I was in Estonia, must be about 5 years ago. I visited a forest cemetery, and it was originally a cemetery for the Forest Brotherhood, which was like a partisan group that was started to kind of defend Estonia. I think it was across the Baltic, so they had them probably in Latvia as well, maybe Lithuania too, to defend against the Russians, communists, and also the Nazis. And it was just a magical place. I mean, it was in this forest, and I can't explain to you the feeling of peace that I had when I was there. I thought then and there that I would love to be, buried there when the time came. It just really felt very, just special. There was a small kind of wooden chapel, and then it was just really, really in the forest. So the trees were all around it, and all the little graves were marked out. I think, of course, people are buried there still today, but that's the original purpose of that cemetery, and it was really, really special and magical. Number 16, who do you tag? Well, as I say, I've seen a host of this tag going around, so I'm not really going to tag anybody, but of course, if you watched it and you liked it, then consider yourself tagged. So yeah, thank you very much for giving up whatever it is, 16, 17 minutes of your time by watching this, and hopefully I'll be back again soon with some other tags, some other videos, and look forward to seeing you all then. Take care, everybody. All the best. Bye-bye.